All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for the Dan Bongino Show.
You know what I love about this Spencer Pratt campaign out in California for LA Mayor? Dan, why are you talking about Spencer Pratt? Because they're probably still counting the votes in LA. I mean, it is California, right, Justin? They'll be counting the votes until about 2032. Yeah, maybe they'll pick a mayor at some point. But this Spencer Pratt is not taking any of this BS lying down. Technically, yes, the race is over. But he just keeps putting out. This is why I really appreciate this guy. I ran for office. It didn't work out. But I never thought like my activism was done. I just put it in a different place. Content creation, social media, podcast, radio, TV, Fox, wherever it is. Because this cause matters too much for me. This guy put out this. Did you guys see this video? It has gone I'd say pretty viral on on X. Everyone's retweeting it or reposting it. I'm going to show you. It's about voter fraud. And he nails this point that, listen, liberals, so again, stupid is a choice, liberals. You don't have to be stupid. By the way, Paula's working on a shirt for that. Store.bongino.com because it's gone crazy. Everybody loves it. We have this one up now, 250 years of freedom, liberty, and kicking ass. This video he did about people believing in the system or not believing in the system and how that is everything. The rules are meaningless if people don't abide by them or believe the rules are being applied. Imagine being in a boxing match where the guy comes in with a freaking chainsaw, like Leatherface, right? And you point to the ref, you go, Andy's the ref. Andy, the guy's got a chainsaw. And the guy goes, hold on, let me look at the rules. He goes, there's really no prohibition on chainsaws. I can see specifically. You're like, well, it says, you'd be like, I'm not fighting in this fight. That's what's happening with voting in California and in other liberal states around the country that don't have voter ID. No one believes it anymore. Our founding fathers understood so clearly. They were so clear on this point that the only way the country was going to work was Ben Franklin said, it's a republic if you can keep it. And the only way we can keep it is if there's fidelity to the documents. The documents are the rules, and people believe the rules are being applied. Folks, this is a critically important video. I'm going to play it for you coming up in a second. I got a banger of a show today. Also, this is going to be like a mini tutorial on debating the left. For some reason yesterday, X, and it was good, was overflowing with unbelievable videos of solid conservatives debating moron leftists. And I want to show you how the rules and the euphemisms game they play. You're going to like this. Stay tuned. Hey, if you're starting your day with that watered down, brown water, crap corporate coffee, you're doing it wrong. Like they wrote that in it? No, I just added that crap. Because it's garbage. Every morning, I get my blackout coffee ready to go. I love blackout coffee because it's bold but never bitter. I want coffee that tastes like coffee. I love that bold taste, right? It's a no-nonsense coffee. Blackout Coffee is a small American company that actually shares your values. They're proud of it. They roast some of the best coffee I've ever had. Have it every day. Don't just buy a bag. Join the coffee club. That's what I do. Your coffee shows up automatically and you save money. It's important. You get free shipping. You're never stuck drinking bad coffee again. Plus, you start stacking rewards, even hook you up with bonus credits after just a few deliveries. And right now, they've got some really cool limited releases for the 250th anniversary of the great United States of America. You don't want to miss those. The coffee's delicious. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. The choice is the Dan Bongino Show. Use code Bongino for 20% off your order. That's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Join that coffee club today. Trust me, once you make the switch, you're not going back. Thank you, Blackout Coffee. Fellas, let's go. Without further ado, because what does Dan hate more than anything? He hates talking about himself in the third person. You get the joke. But second, he hates unnecessary teases. Here is part one of this banger of a video, Spencer Pratt, former candidate for the Los Angeles mayor position, who I think was robbed. Here he is talking about potential voter fraud and proof versus evidence, things we discuss in this show all the time. This guy's messaging is top-notch. Here's part one. Check this out.
In judicial ethics, the mere appearance of potential fraud is disqualifying. Same goes here. Whether or not there is widespread fraud occurring, there's certainly could be, and it doesn't matter how many times you scream, there's no widespread fraud. A lot of people believe there is, and there's no way to actually validate it. This isn't just about whether or not fraud is swinging the election. The appearance of fraud already is swinging the election. People rightly have zero faith in this janky, inefficient system. They feel like their vote isn't being counted. They feel like illegal ballots are being cast, and they're not wrong to worry about it. There's literally no safeguards in place to prevent that from happening, and way too many openings for it to occur on a massive scale.
Folks, I've made this argument to you many times through the 10 plus years we've been doing this show in various formats. We rarely underestimate the left. Folks in the chat, like, who thinks the left is incapable of the far left of really horrendous things? Totalitarianism, communism, fascism. The answer is like, no one. Everybody understands the capabilities of the left. After what they did to Donald Trump in his last term, even now, nobody on the right, nobody I know that's serious, underestimates the left. I have said forever, and I will continue to say now, that one of our tactical advantages, and one of the reasons, despite that we don't have academia, we don't have the entertainment community, the culture has gone left, one of the reasons we continue to win elections, Donald Trump has won 2, possibly 3 times on this, which is apropos for this video. One of the reasons we have the House and we have the Senate is because we are tactically very good at observing what's going on the left, taking it in, and adjusting our political battle tactics. They're terrible at it for us. They're terrible. I bring that up with regards to this excellent video by Spencer Pratt. He doesn't have to do this. The guy's, I don't know his money situation, but probably got enough money. Whatever, I did my thing. I fought the fight. I'm going away. The race didn't work out. I didn't do that. And I got to tell you, for what it's worth, I'm proud of this guy for not doing it either. He brings up the key point. Ladies and gentlemen, the system and the rules, the Constitution we apply in this great United States of America only matter if there's fidelity to the rules and people believe that the rules are fair and being implemented. The left does not understand. I promise you, they do not understand how passionate people on the right are about this voter integrity issue. Sure they do, Dan. They do not. I'm telling you, because I got a call. I'm not going to say from who, would be inappropriate, but I don't think he would mind me sharing this, from someone on Capitol Hill who's not a flake or a phony, a good guy. He said to me, even weak-kneed Republicans do not understand how passionate the base is about voter integrity and the SAVE Act, which would save America from cheating. He said even weak-kneed Republicans don't understand. He said, forget the Democrats. They just think it's a passing fancy. They think you guys are just wasting your time on it. Tell me in the chat, yes or no, why I'm extremely passionate. This is number 1, number 2, number 3 issue on my mind. Or no, I don't care. I guarantee you, we have Bot Gino. I heard Bot Gino maybe making a comeback. I guarantee you it's going to be 98, 99% yes, and the no's just didn't hear the question right. I'm telling you, this is the number 1 issue. If people don't believe in the system, the whole system collapses. There's 2 things here I want to bring up. First, the Constitution. Yes. Look, you think nobody reads our audience better than me. I've been with you guys, and you've been with me forever. You guys have been with me, loyal Bongino Army folks, forever, and I love you for it. There's 2 things. I'm going to play part 2 of this video in a second because this is a critically important video. First, folks, there's a documentary out there. It's written from a liberal perspective, the show, the documentary. Have you seen it? It's called The American Experiment. It's very popular. However, they try to throw like Ted Cruz and Rand Paul in there and like Mike Pence and stuff to make it look like it's a bipartisan thing. But the predominant voices in this thing are leftists. However, I personally think it's worth watching. The reason I bring it up is there are a couple points in the show that are done very well where they talk about how even when the Constitution was in the ratification process, there were still 50% of the colonists at that time in the colonies, in the now soon to be United States of America with its own constitution, 50% of the colonists thought the Constitution was crap until there was a Bill of Rights. You don't realize how fragile this country was. This is after the Revolutionary War has ended, after, obviously, the Declaration of Independence. 50% of the colonists are like, yeah, I'm not really sure this is going to work out the way you guys wrote it up. What happened? The Federalist Papers happened. What happened? There were people who went out there and lobbied on behalf of the Constitution. They made changes called amendments. The first 10 being the Bill of Rights, guaranteeing these freedoms and liberties. They had to sell the American people on the fact that you should have belief and fidelity in what we're going to do going forward. Fidelity to the process, fidelity to the rules. And look, 250 years of freedom, liberty, and kicking ass later, we are the most powerful country in the history of sentient beings. If there's sentient beings anywhere in the universe, we're number one. Number one, foamy finger, the United States. So point number one, in these 250 years, we've been at very perilous points. The Civil War, the hippies, we've been through a lot of shit, okay? We have made it because in the end, a majority or close to a majority was at a tipping point of people still believed that the rules mattered. The rules are everything, or else we're just a bunch of people living on a set of land. The reason we're the United States is we believe in the rules. Spencer Pratt is saying nobody believes in the rules anymore for picking leaders in a representative democracy, and the Democrats want this. They are underestimating the rage on this topic. The second point I want to bring up, and it applies right now to all the black pill doomer conspiracy theory loser zeros in Podcastistan about every major, we don't believe this, we don't believe that, we don't believe. This is what, and this applies to this video, second part of this as well. Folks, there is a difference between facts-based evidence and just random facts. The mark of a moron is inserting random facts into a data set to pollute the minds of others without distilling down what's evidence. I've used this example over and over, but it's important you understand this. And Pratt talks about in part 2 of this video, that this is what evidence looks like. If you want to prove something, you eliminate unnecessary fact patterns. A bank was robbed. Justin's a member of that bank. Should we go investigate Justin? No, Justin was up in New York. Yeah, but Justin was a member of the bank. It doesn't matter. Justin was in New York when the bank was robbed. Don't you know how to distill an unevidence-based fact from an evidence-based fact? Here's Pratt, part 2, talking about how the liberals always claim to want evidence, and then you give them evidence that could lead to proof, and they just ignore it when it comes to voter fraud. Check this out.
Now, anyone saying that there's no evidence of fraud is lying. There's tons of evidence, and I was the one who got it. All those videos that you saw of homeless people admitting that they were paid for their vote, where do you think they came from? Immediately after the big spike of votes came in for Nithya, I sent my team down to Skid Row to collect evidence. We were warned by some very well-connected people that this was happening, so we acted on it immediately. But if you want to end this fraud, doing protests and bitching about stolen elections won't get you anything. You need the fraudsters to start catching charges. For that to happen, you need proof. That's what investigators do. They turn evidence into proof with a robust investigation. You think it's a coincidence that 20 FBI agents suddenly descended on Skid Row to investigate vote fraud? Why do you think they were there? You don't get evidence by going to rally or storming the ballot processing center. You get evidence by doing real work. And the first rule of criminal investigation is you do not talk about it. Here's the reality. It's too late for my campaign. A lot of people refuse to accept that, but I can. I told you all to get your ass out and vote. Tell your friends to vote. Vote enough to beat the cheat. We didn't beat it, but that doesn't mean I quit. I don't know how to quit. My goal isn't to try and salvage the campaign, just like my advocacy in the wake of the Palisades fire wasn't about my own home. It's too late for me. This is about you. This is about the next one. It's about exposing this corrupt rigged system and changing it for the next election. If I have to be the kamikaze pilot to finally get this fixed, so be it. There's a right way and a wrong way to do this. The right way isn't easy, but it ends with commie animals and handcuffs. I will restore faith in our elections if it's the last thing I do. And to all you fraudsters out there, we've been watching you, and justice is coming.
Someone in the chat said, Dan, you broke the number one rule. You're falling in love with a political figure. No. I'm not. I'm clapping for the message. I don't know him at Spencer Pratt at all. Folks, how many times have I talked to guys? Have I ever talked to this guy? Never, right? I've never talked in my life. I don't know him from John Smith. I know what he's saying is accurate. What he's saying is a critically important point that distinguishes the imbecile from the patriot. The imbecile cannot distinguish facts that are facts from facts that are evidence. Justin's a member of the bank. He must have robbed it. Justin was in Afghanistan when the bank was robbed. That's the evidence of an imbecile. The Martians shot Donald Trump at Butler. Do you have any evidence of that? No, but I think it happened. Well, give Justin a raise so he'll stop robbing banks all the time. Who said that? Can Wolf. I had to look. Haley's microphone is in the way. This is the message. There is evidence all around you. Liberals always give us evidence. And then someone else in the chat said, and then they moved the goalpost. Okay, Spencer Pratt just gave you some pretty good mathematical evidence. There were possible anomalies in the vote count. We're not talking about that evidence. We need more evidence now. Folks, this guy's team is good at messaging. Notice the use of imagery in there. You saw this in yesterday's clip too, how the liberals constantly move the goalpost. I played the CNN clip with Dana Bash and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum, where Interior Secretary Burgum is talking about, hey, we've arrested people for vandalizing the reflecting pool. And she's like, well, do you have photos of them doing it? You're seeing this with trials going on right now, which I'm deliberately not commenting on for a reason. I want the process, the rules to play out. That's how it works. But notice how they move the mark. Well, there could be DNA at the reflecting pool. It doesn't matter. Do you have video of the DNA? That's fake DNA. This is all they do. This is the mark of an imbecile. Folks, the signing of our Constitution was such an unbelievable moment of uncertainty. I'm not sure a lot of people, I love American history, are aware of. This country persists and is still kicking ass after 250 years. This is the light blue shirt. I'm not really crazy about the light blue at all. Everyone else seems to like it, though. I like the darker colors for what it's worth. Who cares? I'm just telling you, we have persisted for 250 years because people, not everyone, but a close to majority or majority of people believe the rules are fair. The second the system collapses, and the founders were so afraid of, as they indicate in the documentary, of demagogues coming in there and telling people they were more important than the rules, which the liberals do all the time. If we don't get this voter integrity thing in check, we have been talking about this for 10 freaking years. I see that, I candidly see it as the number one threat to the republic. Just complete collapse in faith of the entire system. Ladies and gentlemen, stupid is a choice. And I'm telling you, the left is grotesquely underestimating the slow burn rage building on the right at the fact that we can't count a freaking vote in the greatest country on earth. And the Supreme Court, I'm very sorry, did not help. The Supreme Court did not, the election's done when voting's complete. No, the election's done on election day, not election season. It's like saying the soccer game isn't done until people stop enjoying play. No, it's done when the 90-minute clock wears out an extra time. Why am I bringing this up too? Because I told you yesterday, the single biggest threat to the country is a lack of faith in the system. You don't believe in the system collapses, okay? All you need to do is hit a tipping point. And who's contributing to this? Here's Democrat super lawyer Mark Elias interviewing who's back? Hillary Clinton. By the way, she's in that documentary all over the place, whining. I can't believe I won the popular vote, but I didn't win the Electoral College. Here she is, undermining faith in our elections, because that's what Democrats do. That's what Democrats do. Republicans want election integrity. That's our number one issue. We want elections to be fair. We don't want Republicans to cheat either. We want fair elections, period. Democrats undermine faith in the system all the time. Here she is with Mark Elias, Hillary Clinton, whining again about the Electoral College, which is how we elect presidents, to prevent the tyranny of the majority in the country and protect the interests of states and regional interests, which is what the United States, notice we're not the United People of America, we're the United States of America. By the way, that was changed in the signing of the Constitution. Was it Governor Morris who wrote it, changed it from we the people of the states of, went to we the people of the United States of America. Here's Hillary Clinton, again, bullshitting stupid people on the left that the Electoral College was there to protect slavery. She can look this up. Matter of fact, I'll do it for you after this clip. but she doesn't want to because she likes to lie to undermine faith in elections in the United States. Check this out.
You recently, I think, called for the abolition of the Electoral College, which would be a really good start.
Actually, I called for it in 2000.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I did. I did. You know, when I won my Senate race and Al Gore won the popular vote and lost the Electoral College, that's the first time I said, this is, you know, this needs to go because this is not reflective of one person, one vote. And we shouldn't be hanging on to an anachronism that was designed for slave owning states. Let's re-envision it for the 21st century, as you said. Take a look at popular vote. I mean, the popular vote movement is going state by state, and you know they're getting closer to a 270 electoral number that might feel possible. But let's figure out what legislation in Congress could protect that, so that it's a structure that would be blessed by federal legislation, so that when we reach perhaps the number of states we need, so that the states electors vote for the winner of the national popular vote, it's protected against Supreme Court interference.
Here we go with this national popular vote scam. So California, they can't even pick a freaking mayor in LA, is going to pick the president as we wait every 4 years in a presidential election, months later, for California to come up with the votes they need to win the national popular vote in any close presidential election. No thanks. 2 thumbs down on Yelp. Google reviews, no good. I'll pass on that. Folks, Hillary Clinton is full of shit. And what bothers me most about this clip is, listen to me. I worked with this woman. If you think she's stupid, do not make that mistake. Hillary Clinton is not dumb. Kamala Harris is probably genuinely stupid, as is AOC. Stupid relative to their role. They're just dumb and ignorant. They don't know anything. The yellow bus comes down the street. Kamala Harris. AOC, well, can you comment on the Middle East and that Margaret Hoover interview? I don't really know much, but I'll comment anyway. AOC, who doesn't even understand like our China policy with Taiwan, she's just an idiot. Hillary Clinton, I promise you, is not stupid. That is not a celebration of Hillary Clinton. It's an acknowledgement that we understand the left better than they understand us. Hillary Clinton just thinks you're all dumb, and I promise you guys are very smart. Hillary Clinton knows the Electoral College had nothing to do with slavery at all. She's lying to you because she wants minority voters and dumb liberal Karens to fall into this trap and use the race-based identity politics argument to make sure they can steal every presidential election by California and New York voting. Hillary Clinton could look up, because when there was an argument going on about the Constitution, and make no mistake, by the way, we all know, everybody knows this, every sane person with morals, the abomination of slavery, it was a tragic compromise in American history that had to be made, and we look back on disgust in the whole thing. The 3/5 compromise, everybody understands that. However, that was not what the Electoral College was about. Look up, go to ChatGPT. They even wrote about it in the Federalist Papers, where Madison and Hamilton and others discussed what was going on around the Constitution and advocated for it so it would be ratified. They wrote a paper about it. ChatGPT. Does Federalist 68, that's the paper if you want to look it up, address slavery when discussing the Electoral College? No, it does not discuss slavery when explaining the Electoral College. Here's what it does discuss. She couldn't look this up, Hillary. She has. She's just lying to you because the Democrats don't like a representative democracy. They don't like any form of democracy. They worship tyranny, collectivism, communism, progressivism, liberalism. It's all the same thing. In the zero-sum game of liberty, they want you to have zero and them to have everything. 100 units of liberty and freedom for the government to do whatever it wants to you, and 0 units of liberty for you so you can't do anything you actually want to do. Democracy is in their way. Know your enemy, or you're going to get trounced by him. And by the way, throw up that Fox article if you would. And you know, the Democrats with their other bullshit talking, Electoral College, slavery, has nothing to do with slavery. Do some homework. Stupid is a choice, morons. Someone in the chat put up earlier, SIAC. I thought it said SAC, like special agent in charge in my last job. SIAC. Stupid is a choice. Gives you, no, that's, there we go. Mass 5667. SIAC. Stupid is a choice. Everyone use that acronym from now on whenever we talk about dumb liberals. Then they tell you, as a Fox piece, sorry guys, I'm throwing you tons of curveballs. Oh, voter fraud doesn't exist. Almost every week we see a new case of voter fraud. You can argue the degree of it. Fine, fair. Stop telling us it doesn't exist. Fox News. When was July 7, 2026? 5 years ago? Justin's like, no, that was just a couple days ago. Being sarcastic, dumbass libs out there. Stupid's a choice. Non-citizen accused of falsely claiming U.S. citizenship before casting federal ballots. I thought that didn't happen. The Heritage Foundation has a whole library of voter fraud cases. Hans von Spakovsky's been doing this for years. You can look it up, Stupid is a SIAC. There we go in the chat. Stupid is a choice. Don't be stupid. Hillary Clinton is not dumb. She's a tyrant. She's a demagogue. She's exactly what the founders feared. Electoral college was slavery. No, dumbass. It was not. Do some freaking homework. Folks, President Trump was just dropping bombs yesterday. What word do I hate more than anything? Literally, because people literally overuse it. However, Trump was dropping bombs yesterday, literally and figuratively. I'm going to show you what I mean, because I found some of this yesterday on X. Folks, President Trump has always been this way. When you see some of the footage, I'm going to bring in, one of them is a Hillary Clinton piece. I'm going to show you, anyone out there claiming they didn't know what they were voting for, whatever. I'm sorry. Again, stupid's a choice. You just didn't do your homework on the guy. The guy's not taking any shit. He's never taken any shit. He's built buildings in New York with tough unions. I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying they're tough. You deal with the locals there, they'll put the big rat up in front of your building. And if you grew up in New York, you know what I mean. He was dealing with corrupt building inspectors, shitty mayors like Beam and Ed Koch and others. You don't think this guy's been through fights before? Oh, we didn't know what we were voting for with this Iran pop. Well, you just didn't do your homework. I'll show you what I mean coming up in a second. Quick break. Let me tell you something. When you sign your insurance policy, for some of these brokers, that's the finish line. They shake your hand, they take their commission, you're done. Well, you won't hear from them again until renewal time either. Well, that's not how your business runs. Your business has gaps and risks that run year round. Where's your broker? That's why I'm introducing you to SuperSure. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just buy a policy online. You know that. SuperSure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits. At supersure.com, you can access tools like the fine print fax tool, which translates your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Really great tool. Plus, they have another one, a business value calculator. You can estimate what your business is worth so you know exactly what needs protecting. Check it out. Go today. Just check it out. Supersure.com/Bongino. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. That's supersure.com/Bongino. Consult with a licensed insurance producer to discuss coverage options for your specific business needs. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency. Thank you, Supersure. Today's show also brought to you by one of my favorite products. When they came on board as a sponsor, I was already a customer. They know that. Dose, D-O-S-E. I love Dose. Their line of products is amazing. We talk all the time about health hacks, what's happening around you, but you got to pay attention to what's happening inside your own body. You only got one, folks. It's your temple. A lot of men don't think about cholesterol until the numbers are there on a lab report and it gets out of control. Then suddenly it matters. At a certain point, you look at your cabinet and you think, when did this become my life? Another bottle, another capsule. That's one reason I chose Dose a long time ago for cholesterol. It's not another pill. It's just a drinkable, delicious, it really is, daily shot. You know, people say delicious, I don't mean it. I mean it. It is amazing. Dose for cholesterol is clinically backed to support triglycerides, LDL, HDL, and total cholesterol levels. It's managed mine unbelievably. It's a gentler alternative with ingredients you recognize, like coenzyme Q10, ginger, pomegranate, and amla. New customers can save 35% in your first month of subscription by going to dosedaily.co/Bongino or entering code Bongino at checkout. That's dosedaily.co/Bongino for 35% off your first month subscription. Great product. Check it out, dosedaily.co/Bongino. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the FDA, not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. Thank you, Dose. Love the product. Folks, President Trump has always been this way. I can't say it enough. SIAC, SIAC, SIAC. This is going to be one of those things we're going to say. You know this, guys, right? And like 3-4 weeks from now, new listeners are going to be like, how come I'm not in on the joke? Just like the Fresca in the back. Me and Andy were talking about this morning. If you missed the Fresca episode, we can never go back. But it's there. You P1s know. SIAC. Stupid is a choice. Just don't be stupid. President Trump has always been this way. So yesterday, he gave the Iranians a number of opportunities for a path to peace. Liberals complained about that. Trump always chickens out. Then Trump starts dropping bombs again. Here's that Fresca. Trump and our terrific, brave, patriotic military starts taking out targets again to open up the strait, and they're complaining again. Warmonger. I don't understand the bipolar left. You just look stupid at this. Just take a position and argue against it. Stop arguing against yourself. Here's President Trump yesterday with MSNOW. And this is more about President Trump in general, how if you miss these videos, you don't understand what the guy's constitution is. His constitution is to fight back, always. He's got a Queens kid in him. I grew up in Queens. Queens kids are always rough. Queens, New York. Because they never had the reputation of the Brooklyn kids. I grew up in Queens. I grew up in Glendale. Trump grew up in a different part of Queens, but not far. Queens kids never have the reputation of Brooklyn. No one wants to fight the Brooklyn kids or the Bronx kids. They're always just presumed to be tough. They he's from Brooklyn. The Manhattan kids have all the money. Trump grew up with a chip on his shoulder, and I mean that as a compliment. Here he is when MSNOW decides to ask him a question. This is glorious. Check this out.
With MS Now, you said today that countries...
You're with who?
MS Now.
MS Now. That's a failing network. Why would you want to work for them? MS Now, can you imagine? They wanted to get away. They took the name NBC because they were embarrassed by it. Go ahead, let's go. When do you hear this question?
You know, I always tell you the show is edutainment. Had to Boogie Down Productions, of course. It's educational entertainment. We just did a big, long thing about the Constitution, Federalist 68, the Electoral College. But some of the stuff, I just want you to be entertained. This guy is the consummate entertainer. Muttley's in the chat. Muttley's in the chat. I always have to say it the same way. I don't know why. I've been saying it that way for 10 years. Guys, where do these effects come from? If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, we appreciate you being here. You got to watch the video show. Also, you get the opportunity to win. The Butley's now, the chat's going. Chat's going now. This guy's the best. He just has this fighter's spirit in him. He knows MSNBC, now MS Now, NOW. He knows they're clowns. So what he's doing here, I don't want to get overly dramatic about the tactics, but remember I told you about, I think they call it like the British debating method. When you're in a debate and you tell the audience what your opponent's going to say in advance, and it just neuters them. My opponent's about to say Donald Trump is a racist. Let me tell you why he's actually not. And then the opponent goes, okay, I don't really have anything to add. Trump does this all the time. He understands right when the lady says she's from MSNBC, MSNOW, that it's going to be a dumb question. So what does he say at the end? Can you play it? I'm sorry, guys. I got to play this one more time. At the end, he's like, oh, listen to this question. It's going to be a beauty. He completely discredits the woman before she even opens her mouth.
With MS Now, you said today that countries...
You're with who?
MS Now.
MS Now. That's a failing network. Why would you want to work for them? MS Now, can you imagine? They wanted to get away. They took the name NBC because they were embarrassed by it. Go ahead, let's go. When do you hear this question?
Wait. you see what I'm talking about? Folks, the show that I got a whole block coming up on how to debate the left with killer videos for you. This is a great technique to discredit the questioner before the question even comes out. Oh, wait till this beauty. Wait till you hear this question. He's already prepping the audience that whatever she says is going to be some biased, not question, but statement with an exclamation point. He does this all the time because he's got a brawler's mentality. Here he was again yesterday, asked him, nobody talks like this in politics. Nobody. He's asked a very simple question about Iran. hey, you know, what happened? You said they were worth dealing with, or maybe they could be reasonable. Of course he said that. He was trying to get a deal. Folks, I don't understand. Like, I really love the Trump presidency, and I think the world of President Trump. I do. I've never been in any way opaque about that. But I don't agree with him on everything. He's never given me a purity test to go and work for him, which was the greatest honor of my life ever. There are some issues we disagree on. I'm not really a huge fan of the tariffs, and we have a different tactical approach to abortion, although I think the end game is different. President Trump is always open to disagreement, but he's a negotiator. I don't understand how you don't see this. Even if you're negotiating with the most evil people on earth, trying to get to peace, which is what he wants. If he loved war, he would have just already annihilated the entire country. He's not going to say as he's negotiating, F these losers over there, this isn't worth my time. Of course he's going to try to seed the battlefield and be like, okay, these guys could be reasonable. Let's see what's going to happen. And then when it doesn't happen, he changes his mind because he's transactional, although he understood the whole time, or he changes his presentation, I should say. His mind is in the right place. And he says, hey, I gave him a shot. They didn't work out. I got to know him. The left is like losing their mind over this, as if he was supposed to stick to an old approach that wasn't working. Check this out.
Last month, you said Iranian leaders were very rational people, nice people to deal with, strong people, smart people. Today, you said they were scum, sick people, and being led by sick people. What changed, and do you think they're...
I got to know them. So I've said that about a lot. Now, when you say rational, I think they're much more rational than level 1, level 2. Level 1 is gone, level 2 is gone. This is level 3.
By the way, did you see Rubio in the background? Can you get a screenshot of that? I love Rubio. I got to, don't break the number one rule. I like what he's doing. Let's leave it at that, okay? Because you're right. I'm only human too, and I don't want to fall in the trap. I've warned you about that. Never fall in love with politicians. Always fall in love with results. And that's proof. Like, I really do have I think here's Rubio in the background. I love President Trump, but we don't agree on everything. That's why, because I believe in issues. It's okay. This guy is doing an amazing job. He understands the Iranian threat. They gave him a shot. We wiped out their leadership. And he's like, you know what? I just got this Rubio's reaction. He knows it. He knows it. Here he is again yesterday, President Trump asked a question. And the reason I'm bringing this up, and I don't want to talk about this too much given my background in both of these spaces. However, President Trump came back yesterday on the older Air Force One plane. Air Force One's whatever plane the president's on a Cessna. It's Air Force One. I think you all know that. Air Force One's a call sign, not a specific jet. But the older versions of what we would see as Air Force One, he came back on yesterday from Turkey. I'm just going to tell you personally, and I think it's fairly obvious why I'm putting it out there. I was very worried about President Trump's safety in Turkey. Very worried. Dan, what do you know about Turkey? I went there with the Secret Service. I'm quite familiar with how they work. I was very worried. I had said to Paula the other day, President Trump was taking kinetic action in Iran. There's obviously going to be a lot of angry people around the world. I am elated that he's back or out of there. I really am. I was very, very concerned about his safety. The Secret Service does an amazing job. I'm not knocking them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just telling you, like, when you're in a foreign country with the Secret Service, folks, you're not in charge. Sure we are. We just flash a badge. No, you're not. You're not. You don't own their streets. You have zero law enforcement powers at all. The U.S. Constitution does not apply in Turkey. They were good, but I'm glad he's back. I only bring that up because this happened yesterday. He was asked about this by someone in the media. And again, he's just pretty clear. And he manages, this is how President Trump is. The guy just sweats charisma. Here he is. This is a question about him being assassinated, which has nearly happened twice. I'd argue 3 or probably 4 times. He's nearly been assassinated, and he still manages to make a joke about it. Like, yeah, I'm their target, but you're on the plane with me. This is how this guy is. You see why he's so likable and different? Check this out.
I think that Iran was possibly thinking, I mean, if they asked you to close your windows, probably they feel them. They didn't ask me to close mine, but if they did, I would have done it. These are sick people. So I could see something like that. I didn't know they did that, but I could see something.
Were you aware of any credible threat by Iran against your
Well, I threat all the time. I'm number one on their list before you. But if I go, you go. Right?
But was there
So perhaps someday you want to change professions.
Who just said it? Hold on. Caged wisdom. Caged wisdom. Lucky Trump got the Riz. That's like one of these cool kid words for charisma. He does have the Riz. This guy, no one's ever had the Riz like this guy. He manages to make a joke. It's not like he hasn't been shot at and hit. we have not had Lucky Trump. Who did that? Smart man. I don't like to abuse Lucky Trump and put it up too much because everybody loves Lucky Trump. Lucky Trump in the chat. Lucky Trump in the chat said, like I say, Muttley. Everybody loves Lucky Trump. We just don't like to wear it out. But the guy's the luckiest guy ever. I mean, this guy could have been killed so many times, and he's still making jokes about it. Folks, stupid is a choice. Stop pretending you don't know the character of the man as a fighter when you could have done just a basic amount of homework. He is not going to let a country acquire a nuclear weapon and in 10 years, maybe less, when he's out of the political picture, but hopefully still alive, he's not going to watch a mushroom cloud or a dirty bomb detonate in Times Square. He's not going to let it happen. He understands there's political risk. Lucky Trump in the chat. He's not letting it happen. He's taking an extreme political risk because he understands it's the right thing to do for this generation and future generations. If you don't understand that, again, you just didn't do your homework on this guy. I saw this video floating around X yesterday. It's one of my favorite Donald Trump videos of all time. You could have watched this, and you can see the weakness and the just overly polished, fraudulent Hillary Clinton act versus a very genuine Donald Trump who acknowledges the weaknesses in the system, but points out that the system was Hillary Clinton. This is their debate when the subject of tax code carve-outs comes up. And Donald Trump's fairly candid. Hey, I use them. Why wouldn't I use them? But that's not the point. She's talking about carve-outs, but she was part of the government as a United States Senator. Why didn't she do anything about it? Talk about debating, which will come up in a second. Here, you want to see the Riz? Here's the Riz right here. Check this out.
Did you use that $916 million loss to avoid paying personal federal income taxes?
Of course I do. Of course I do. And so do all of her donors, or most of her donors. I know many of her donors. Her donors took massive tax write-offs.
So have you not paid personal federal income tax?
A lot of my write-off was depreciation and other things that Hillary, as a senator, allowed. And she'll always allow it because the people that give her all this money, they want it. That's why. See, I understand the tax code better than anybody that's ever run for president. Hillary Clinton, and it's extremely complex, Hillary Clinton has friends that want all of these provisions, including they want the carried interest provision, which is very important to Wall Street people, but they really want the carried interest provision, which I believe Hillary's leaving. It's very interesting why she's leaving carried interest. But I will tell you that, number one, I pay tremendous numbers of taxes. I absolutely used it, and so did Warren Buffett, and so did George Soros, and so did many of the other people that Hillary is getting money from.
Wait, can you take a screenshot of her at the end with the stupid smile on her face? Look at how, this is the most uncomfortable cringe smile from a woman who has the anti-Riz. Remember Bizarro Superman and Superman, if you read DC Comics growing up? She's Bizarro Superman. She is the anti-Riz. She knows Trump just absolutely owned her, eviscerated her on this question. And look at her. He's kind of right. I could have voted, carried interest out, all this other stuff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to all our lefty friends out there, look at her. Look at that dopey look at her. Electoral college about slavery. You could look that up, Hills, but you won't. You won't because you're a fraud. Hillary Clinton could support a flat tax. Hell, I'm a fair tax guy. But hey, you want to make the math easy? Folks, ask your liberal friends tomorrow. We don't like tax loopholes. then why'd you vote for them, dipshits? You could change it. Why not implement a flat tax tomorrow? Hell, you could even make it a progressive flat tax. Nobody has to pay any taxes on whatever, the first 50,000. I don't like that. I think everybody should pay. Just let me be clear. But even if you had a capitulated point, first 50,000 of income's tax-free. After that, everybody pays 15%. How about that? There would be no, quote, loopholes. Watch your liberal friends crap their diapers and claw at their friends. Oh, I didn't mean that. Why do they love loopholes in the tax code? Because of what Donald Trump just said. You took advantage of it. So of course I did. She voted into office. You know why? She wants to take care of her rich donors who love the loopholes that benefit them. Oh, that one hurt. That was a kick. You ever get a liver shot in boxing? Holy Moses, that hurt. What was it, De La Hoya who caught one that time? You'll be down on your knees. You'll be down. That was a debate liver shot. You love tax loopholes. Yes, Melissa for the mitten in the chat. This is a P1. Big hat tip, Melissa. A Star Was Born, Dave Chappelle. Some of you will get that. Man, you're good. You know, I thought about using that, Melissa, but his comedy lately been so bad. It's not really that funny lately, sorry. But Dave Chappelle did a whole SNL skit. Melissa knows because she listens to the show. We used to play it all the time, where Dave Chappelle talked about that exact clip, and he calls Donald Trump an honest liar. And honestly, he means it as a compliment. It doesn't sound it, but go watch the clip and you'll see what I mean. He brings up the exact things. Now, Hillary Clinton had no response to any of this because nobody talks like that in politics behind the Riz captain, President Trump. He is. Can we do a diagram next to the Riz captain? Like in a captain's, like Captain Steubing from the Love Boat or something? Get on it, Andy's really good at this. I tell him, dude, he's got these things done, like the gifts of socialism. I don't know if he uses whatever, AR, he's got these things done in like 5 minutes. He's the Riz captain. He is the Riz captain. You could have done some homework on President Trump. If you're confused, why is this guy such a brawler? Why does he take on the media? Why does he take on anyone who hits him under? Why doesn't he just leave it alone? Maybe that is a better tactic. I don't know. It's just not him. You didn't do your homework. He's never going to change. This was floating around X yesterday, too. I pulled it for you because that's what I do. This is a 1993 video of President Trump up on Capitol Hill. You want to see who this guy is? The guy's a brawler. And some zero congressman tries to attribute a quote to him about Indians and stores. It's not his quote. Apparently it was like a Don Imus quote or something. Trump just unloads on this idiot. He's always been this guy. It's not my fault you didn't do your homework. Check this out.
I want to tell you something. You have a long way to go. And for whatever reason, you have a closed mind. I don't know why. Perhaps you could tell me.
No, Mr. Trump, I have a closed mind against evidence that is not substantiated.
Oh, well.
I have a closed mind against statements that are made about other people in generality.
You're going to be very embarrassed in 2 years, sir.
You go on a radio show and you say, now some drunken Indians want to come down here and open a reservation.
I didn't say that, sir. Quote it. I didn't say that. Who said that? Who said that? I'd like an apology right now because I didn't say that.
Imus opened the broadcast, so, excuse me, Mr. Imus said that.
Okay. Could I please have an apology?
You can have an apology.
Thank you, sir.
He's always been this way. He's always been this way. He's always been a transactional, net present value, positive spreadsheets guy, businessman. That's what he deals with. And when he can make a deal, didn't President Trump write a book, something about a deal? I think he sold a couple copies, right? Of course, I'm being sarcastic. He wrote a book called The Art of the Deal. A constitutional republic where we all believe in the rules and the system requires an informed electorate. If you did your homework on the election, you would know a couple of things. Kamala Harris is, in fact, an imbecile, just based on the homework. And the bus and the wheels go round and round. We got to unburden ourselves from the past. The woman was an idiot. You would also know in the 2016 election that Hillary Clinton is not an idiot, but is a fraud and a tyrant. You would also know that Donald Trump is a rough and tumble business guy. and always has been. Folks, one of the reasons I think this show blew up in the Trump MAGA era is because self-praise stinks, but F it, man, I'm going for it. I grew up around Donald Trump. I did not know him growing up. Know him now. I did not know him. I want to be clear. But if you grew up in New York when I did, in the late 70s and 80s, Donald Trump was in the news basically once a week, if not more. Everybody knew who he was. I think that's why the Trump phenomenon was not a huge surprise to me. Took me a little bit, but when I got there, I got it. Like I really got it. That's why this show just blew up. If you would have done your homework, you would have seen what I saw, that there was time in this system that had been progressively, you know, when you bend metal over and over and you get metal fatigue and eventually it snaps? The country was getting to that point, folks. Fidelity in the system has gone away. They needed someone to get back there and rattle the cage. And he was the guy. Folks, we have to continue this fight against the doomers and the traitors. We have to. I'm going to take a quick break here. It's our last break, but as my good friend Ginny Thomas says all the time, you are the leaders we've been waiting for. We are dealing with very, very dangerous people. I am concerned, but not as concerned about the Kamala Harrises as I am about the Hillary Clintons, who know what they're doing and are tyrants. Kamala Harris was just dumb. And she's not charismatic like AOC, who's dumb but charismatic. Kamala Harris is neither. AOC and Hillary worry me. They worry me because Hillary Clinton's a tactical tyrant, but AOC is a dumb but charismatic one. They should worry you too. People say to me all the time, I don't want to debate my leftist friends. I don't want to lose friends. If they're your friends, they won't care that you have a different political opinion. I go to barbecues and outings every weekend with people who don't think the same as me politically. You're telling me like you don't want to debate leftists for the future? You want to lose your country over worrying about some loser neighbor who doesn't give a shit about you? You have to take on the mantle and go debate these people. I'm going to give you some tools coming up in a minute. I want to show you what we're fighting first. Hey, last break here. I'm often asked the question, you know, what tools and what do you use out there to protect your family without taking a life? Well, let me tell you about Byrna. They've been with us a long time. BYRNA, a very, very popular device. I have a Byrna. I have two of them. I really trust it. Byrna has this less than lethal launcher. It fires powerful kinetic and chemical rounds that can incapacitate an attacker for up to 30 minutes. That could give you time to get away and call for help. Justin's got one. I think the whole team's got a Byrna. Byrna has this new compact launcher. It's fantastic. It's about the size of a smartphone. Super easy to carry. Super easy to use. No background check required. Effective device. The Byrna CL fires at up to 400 feet per second with some serious stopping power. It was designed to help with de-escalation, not devastation. Byrna is proudly American, BYRNA, assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. More than 750,000 Byrna launchers are already in the hands of law enforcement and responsible citizens who want protection without tragedy. If you believe in being prepared, and you also believe in restraint, Byrna is for you. Check it out today. It's BYRNA. Go to Byrna.com. That's BYRNA.com and learn more. Byrna.com. Thanks, Byrna. Check it out. Please support our sponsors. They love to talk to our audience. Thanks, Byrna. You must continue the fight. Folks, I want to play for you this DSA video that's been going around. I try to distill. I'm not a super scroller like Haley. I have to issue a formal apology to Haley, by the way. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Do you guys know about this? We had said a couple weeks ago on the show that I think I have as much screen time on my phone as Haley. I had texted her on the weekend, and I took a screenshot, which I never do, by the way. And I was like, hey, Haley, I have, 8 hours of screen time. I have to be honest with my audience. What does yours look like? She sends me a text back. She goes, LOL, Dan, those are rookie numbers. She had 19 hours of screen time. So formal apology to the great Haley Karania. However, I am online a lot, and I like to bring you the best of the worst. And this may be the best of the worst. These are the lunatics you're dealing with who are taking over the country right now in New York, Colorado, and elsewhere. The Democrat, socialist / tyrants of America. Listen to them openly talk about destroying your country. You, double fingers pointed at you. It is your country. destroying your country from the inside, not even hiding it. These are the people you want to let take control because you don't want to debate. I know you do. Check this out.
We have a unique responsibility to act from the heart of empire, the belly of the beast. The most important thing that we can do is take that empire down from within.
Our role ultimately is to facilitate our own empire's failure in ways that we can, ultimately to overthrow our own empire.
U.S. imperialism is not a thing that can be reformed away. It has to be overthrown through revolutionary struggle.
And to build a mass movement that can use the leverage of workers to hit the kill switch on American imperialism here within the American empire.
Sayak, stupid is a choice. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not just stupid, it's freaking dangerous. This is no time. Was it, for those of you who grew up in New York in the 80s and 90s, was that song about Halfway Crooks, was that Mobb Deep, that rap song? Someone help me out in the chat. Justin Follow. Was that Mobb Deep? I forget. Obviously, 80s or 90s in New York, everybody, it was just a rap day. Everybody listened to rap all the time. But I got into the country later. This is no time for halfway crooks, okay? This fight is real. It is time to go all in. These people are not effing around. They are openly telling you they want to destroy the country from the inside. Someone said in the chat, they're not taking over. I promise you, they are. They're taking over that entire part. They have hijacked the entire Democrat Party. They're terrified of them. Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, everyone. You have actual communists. And I saw an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal the other day where the guy was suggesting that Democrats are going to fall in line, these socialists, when they get elected. Really? Show me any evidence of that. AOC, nah. Rashida Tlaib, nah. They're not falling in line at all. They're as crazy as they were the second they swore in and swore to violate the Constitution. That was their oath. This is why, again, I support and remain supportive, fully supportive of President Trump. President Trump is a transactional guy. He's not going to explain to you the Communist Manifesto versus Montesquieu. Not that he's not capable of it. He's certainly capable. He's not dumb. He just is very transactional. Communism, bad. People starve and die. And he's got away with the riz of just explaining it. President Trump is the warrior we need right now against this communist infiltration of America. He just is, because he gets it. You doubt me? Listen to this exchange that happened just the other day when he's asked a question about communism after these communist victories and the takeover of the Democrat Party. This is a guy who gets it. He doesn't over-explain. He sees it on the spreadsheet and says, net present value +1 for dead people? We don't want more dead people. Check this out.
Communism. You've been issuing a wake-up call to Americans at home about the dangers of communism. And now you're speaking on the world stage. What's your message to people both living under communist and socialist regimes, but also people living under democracies like in Europe and America who might not have realized how close communism has come to home?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. But look, I want to get the word out because what's forming is communism in the country. And communism's easy to sell. I would be the greatest communist in history. I'd be right up there with Lenin. I'd be as good as anybody. You've got free rent for the rest of your life. What they don't say is that you'll be living in squalor in 12 months. You've got a free house. Would anybody like to have a free house? We'll take it away from somebody. We'll give it to you. You'll have murders all over the place. Communism's a disaster. It's been proven to be for thousands of years under different names, but same thing.
Folks, that's why he keeps getting elected. Because he talks to people where they are. I love Montesquieu, John Locke. I love it. And I strongly encourage you to go and read everything from the Federalist Papers to the work of Montesquieu and Locke and others as well. Rousseau and others. Just read them all. Contradictory opinions on it. You should do that. However, when you're sitting there and you're talking to 330 million people, talking in a way where it makes you sound overly intellectual, not for the purpose of exchanging ideas, but to make yourself look good, is not politics. He doesn't do that. This guy's the warrior we need. Let me tell you who else was a skilled debater. And I hesitate to bring his name up only because it obviously elicits an emotional response. Many of you will have too. and given the preliminary hearing going on, Charlie Kirk was a phenomenal debater. Charlie was a skilled debater. I'd argue at that age like no other. Charlie had a gift at an early, I was a lot older than Charlie. Charlie was a very young man who was just exceptionally skilled at debating. I bring that up because the loss, when I was at the memorial service in Alabama, I was talking to Pete Hegseth, and there was a lot of this, next man up, like we got to fill his shoes. And I made the argument that we have to be realistic, that he was the Michael Jordan of debating. Like, you just don't fill Michael Jordan's shoes. Like, that doesn't happen. Charlie was the GOAT. I mean, he just had an ability to do this. Now, we have to basically apply the Moneyball theory, where you're never going to replace, Jason Giambi at first base. But what you can do is you can get a whole lot of people out there who fill in the gap, and at least we try to get back there. Here's Will Witt, very skilled debater. I wanted to show, because this is how it's done. This is how it's done. He's at one of these events where we engage in a back and forth. This is why we understand the left better than they understand us. The left just wants to put you in jail. Turning Point, Charlie, Will Witt, and others, they just go out to these events and they say, tell me what you think. The left never does that to us. That's why we always, we maintain our presence out there, despite academia, the intelligentsia, all hating our guts. This is why we continue to win elections, because our people understand them. They will never understand us. Here's an exchange that's just glorious, and I want you to watch how it's done. I could learn a lot from this. I get very excitable. I think you've seen that. It's the Queens in me. Will Witt does a very good job, and I strongly encourage you, when you're debating your Obama-loving, hopey-changey neighbor, stay as calm as possible. They don't know how to respond to it. Watch this.
We have a president right now.
No, the president is not white culture. What is white culture, and how does white culture perpetuate racism?
The president was voted in by...
and the country also voted in Obama, a black man, for 2 terms.
Sorry, what?
We've had a black president for 2 terms. How can you say that there's a systemic racism in this country when we had a black president for 8 years?
Sorry, what? Okay. Sorry, it's hard to focus. Okay. So we had a black president for 2 terms. That's correct, of course. Yeah. That isn't not enough evidence to suggest that our country has a race problem.
But it is enough evidence to suggest that because Donald Trump was elected that we are racist. So if it doesn't fit your narrative the other way, then you just switch it the opposite. You can't have one and not the other.
This, Will Witt, this is, even Josh is like, this is freaking genius. By the way, hat tip to this is a strong comment, I'm just saying. Someone in the chat picked up on it, and they said, this guy's not a master debater like Graham Plattner. Some of you will get that. Some of you will get that. Notice when I was discussing, I said skilled for a reason, because I didn't think it was appropriate for, like, obviously. However, that's a here. That's a man. You want to see another master debater? Dan, why'd you pause? Say it quick. You'll figure it out. That is a skilled debater, unlike Plattner, who's a master debater. Said it quick. There he is. Captain Stubing. Captain of the... How did you get that? Is that really... That is on the back. That is not an illusion, folks. That is really on the back. How did you get that on the back? Can we do that time to time? Leave that up for the rest of the show. I'm dead serious. Don't pull it down. Folks, if you're watching listening on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, or something, please go watch the end of the show. You don't have to watch the whole thing. We are now going to leave Captain of the Riz, Donald Trump, Riz Captain, up on the wall for the remainder of today's program. Well done, guys. Was that an Andy special? He loves this stuff. Leave him up. I'm trying to help. This is a tutorial on how Captain of the Riz, Donald Trump, won debate. Muttley, people are going crazy with the Muttley. We have blown the Muttley icon up today, emoji in the chat. Calm. Lesson number 1, debating leftists. Present your evidence calmly. The person Will Witt is debating, this woman there, will never be convinced by the evidence. She made a statement. The election of a president who is white indicates that this country is basically racist and white culture. Then when he says, okay, presidential elections that result in the election of a black man would say the opposite, right? She doesn't know what to say. She doesn't. He's in the chat. Forget her. Forget her. Well, forget her. Why would you debate? Because there's a third party listening. And who's the third party listening? You. And you will take that clip now and you will run with it. And some idiot neighbor of yours, who isn't like Captain Trump, the Riz captain, some idiot neighbor of yours is going to bring over his hopey changey photo, probably signed by Obama. And he's going to be like, this is a racist country, bro. And you're going to be like, didn't you bring up the hopey changey? How many times was he elected? Oh, how'd that happen? Here's lesson number 2. I'm going to show you this clip back and forth between two folks on abortion. I want you to watch it. Liberals always rage out. Liberals crash out and rage out all the time because everything they believe in is fake. Everything. The rich don't pay taxes, fake. Abortion's not murder, fake. Well, what the hell is it? It's reproductive care. How, by killing the baby? That's not actually care, I promise. Here's a debate about abortion. Lesson number 2 is do not ever let the left play word games. They do the euphemism game, the left, all the time. They try to change the meaning of words to win a debate before it happens. The woman debating the crazy liberal here does not let her off the hook. There is no such thing as pro-choice. The choice you're fighting for is abortion, killing a baby in the womb. That's what the choice is. Liberals don't ever want to say that because they don't want to say, I support the murder of children in the womb. Watch, she doesn't let her off the hook here. Don't ever let them play word games because the debate will be over before you even start. Check this out.
I wish you would stop saying pro-abortion. I am pro-choice.
You're pro-legal abortion.
No, stop rephrasing it so that you seem more legally and morally in the right.
Abortion is so great. Why do you have a hard time admitting you support it?
Because you are using a moral fallacy where you are specifically making me seem more antagonistic.
No,
Yes, you are.
If abortion is antagonistic, then maybe you shouldn't be
No,
supporting it.
abortion is not antagonistic. Stop rephrasing my words so you seem correct.
Okay.
I am specifically saying I am pro-choice. I am up for the decision of a woman to choose. I am not saying she needs to get an abortion. The term pro-abortion specifically infers that it is someone who is saying that you should get an abortion, just as you are saying pro-life is specifically saying that somebody who should specifically
No, I'm
choose.
anti-abortion. I'll blatantly... I'm anti-abortion. You are pro-legal abortion. I am anti-legal abortion.
Yes,
Establish that.
anti-abortion specifically limits to what you are specifically saying. Pro-life also does the same thing. You specifically limiting me to pro-abortion, saying pro-abortion.
Now, you might not just be pro-abortion. You might also support other choices, but you're still pro-legal abortion.
Then why are you limiting me to that one aspect of my
Because
ideology
I think
and
it's
not using a
important
simpler
that
term
you
that
admit what you
encompasses
support.
everything?
I think because we disguise the word abortion behind the word choice to cover up what abortion is, and that's the deliberate killing of innocent children.
Hat tip, Students for Life, Lydia Taylor Davis. Excellent job. Don't let them off the hook. Lesson number 2, don't let them play word games. When they tell you they're pro-choice, what choice are you supporting? What are you pro? Pro-choice for what? A flat tax? You want to choose? No. Pro-choice for what? Pro-choice for what? School choice? School choice means you can pick your school. When you're talking about a choice, what are you choosing? Oh, abortion. Liberals don't ever want to talk about it. Meanwhile, Lydia Taylor Davis has no problem what she supports when she says pro-life. I support us fighting against the murder of children in the womb. Very clearly. Liberals love word games. They love word games because if they told people what they were actually about, we want your kids in shitty schools, we want to take over your health care with a government bureaucrat, we want to tax you into oblivion, we want to regulate your business to death. When they tell people this, people go, that sucks, I'm not voting for that. Do not let them play word games ever. Make them define exactly what they support. Here's another one for you. You want to see another example of this? This is another brilliant debate. Is this the moderate case? Is that? I love this. This is another great show. This guy's fantastic. The moderate, follow him on X. Here he is debating a woman who claims to be Palestinian, which is interesting because Palestine's not actually a place. So how she's Palestinian, I'm not really sure. But watch him ask her to define what that means. He's not defining. Watch this woman just like randomly bounce all over the place. Like, you know, they used to, remember when we were kids, the parachute and you throw the ball, and that was like the gym thing. Watch the balls just go everywhere in the neurons because she can't figure out what the term actually means. Check this out.
Yeah, I'm Palestinian.
Were you born in Palestine?
No, I was born in Chicago.
How are you
my
Palestinian?
mom was, my grandma was.
Okay. So you're Arab?
I'm from Bethune. Yeah, I'm from Bethune.
No, I was born in Chicago.
Is Arab and Palestinian the same thing?
Yeah, it's a part of the Middle East. I mean, I'm Palestinian. What are you trying to debate me on?
No, I'm just asking you. You weren't born there. Palestinian is a national identity. Like American is a national identity. You have to be born in America. You're not
My
ethnically
blood
American.
is Palestinian, but
There's
my
no
blood
such
is
thing as
Palestinian.
There's no such thing as Palestinian blood because it's a nationality.
Yes, there is.
Your blood and your
Yes, there
ethnicity
is.
is Arab. You just
Okay,
admitted you're
then
an
I'm
Arab,
Arab.
and then you conflated Arabism or
Yeah,
being
I'm Arab, just like how
And you-
Egyptians are technically Arab. They think
exactly my point. So Egyptians are not
but,
Palestinians,
just like
right?
how Moroccans,
Right,
just like how
right.
Syrians, Lebanons, they're all
Right,
Arab,
but
right?
right, but Egyptians are not Palestinians, right?
Not really. I mean, they like to think they are. I mean, we include them, you know, because they speak the language.
They really don't like to
But-
think that. They really don't like Palestinians, hence why they have their
I
border
mean,
shut
where
off.
I'm from, they do. They really do.
But you're from America.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago.
I'm talking about Egyptians. There are Egyptians in Chicago?
Yeah.
Not really.
The Egyptians shut down the corridor to keep, quote, Palestinians out. Does she not know? Of course she doesn't know. She's a leftist. Notice how they dance. They tap dance because they're not captains of the Riz. Like that guy. Notice how they tap dance around it when you just ask them to define the terms they're debating. What does pro-choice mean? What exactly are you pro? What is the choice? And they rage out. You're Palestinian. Where were you born? Chicago. Here is a classic
question.
P1s. You're going to recognize this right away. Even I got to use the dreaded air quotes again, academics and pseudo-smart people on the left, the anti-racist crowd that just make this stuff up, they're just full of shit. They're not they love racism, just against a different group of people who are white, which is the definition of racism. Watch what happens again. You know where I'm going with this, you P1s? We've played this at least 10, 20 times. I think it was an entry into the clip of the year at one point. We should enter it again this year just for the hell of it. I don't know if that's part of the rules. Here's Ibram Kendi, one of these critical race theory knuckleheads. He's asked a simple question. This guy gets paid a fortune to go out and give speeches. He's asked a simple question like, okay, brother, like what's racism? Here's a hint. If someone asks you what a pen is and you use the word pen in the definition, you're probably a moron. What's a pen? It's like a penny-looking pen device. That doesn't help, bro. That's not a definition. It's circular reasoning. Watch Kendi squirm and people laugh at him when he's asked to describe what racism is. It's like a racist thing. Check this out.
You define racism?
Sure. So racism, I would define it as a collection of racist policies that lead to racial inequity that are substantiated by racist ideas. Sure. A collection of racist policies that lead to racial inequity that are substantiated by racist ideas. And anti-racism is pretty simple using the same terms. Anti-racism is a collection of anti-racist policies leading to racial, and anyone take guess, equity that are substantiated by anti-racist ideas.
So racism is racist stuff, and anti-racism is just the opposite. It's the not anti-racisty racist. Folks, these people are idiots. Lesson number 2, always ask them to define the terms. Tell me what your definition of racism is. It's racist, racist. Why? Not because you're going to change Ibram Kendi's mind. He's probably making bank off all this stuff. But there's a third party listening who I guarantee you, if you have a compass true north based on logic and reason, and you heard that for the first time, there's no way you disagree with me if that guy sounds like an idiot. No, he sounds like a moron. You heard it yourself. Here's the third rule of debating with the leftists. This is the last one for this segment, but it's important too. Saul Alinsky rule, I believe, number 4, rules for radicals. Always make your political opponents live by their own rules. The reason is that works for us because we're not frauds. We support low tax rates because we don't want to pay high taxes to the government because it doesn't work. We support school choice because we want you to have school choice too. Going back to the show, beginning of the show, we support the SAVE Act because we don't want Republicans or Democrats cheating an election. We want elections. We want free and fair elections. The Republicans, good Republicans, not losers. We have no problem with this stuff. We want a set of rules because fidelity to the Constitution and the rules matters, or else you have an unfair boxing match. You can't have one guy with a chainsaw and one guy with 20-ounce gloves on. The left never lives by its own rules because the left wants rules for them, but not rules for you. That's how communism and collectivism works. The communists always get rich. It's the peasants who starve to death because the rules are different. I want you to watch this. This is Randy Fine up on the Hill. He's asking this Virginia representative about men in the women's room. And notice the guy squirm when he just asks him to apply the same rules to him. This is just glorious. Check this out.
Do you use the women's restroom?
Of course not.
Why not?
Because I would never use a woman's restroom. I'm a male.
Because you're a man. Wow, that's a great thing. So why do you think men should be able to use the restroom in Loudoun County Public Schools?
I don't.
Okay, but they do. They do, and we've got incident over and over. Look, I could say I'm an NBA athlete. That doesn't make it true. Yeah. You allow men to use the women's restroom over and over and over again. And you can argue insanely whether that's okay or not, but I have a question. In 2025, you had an issue where a man went into, or a woman went into the restroom, and 3 boys that were there were unhappy about it because they were being recorded. Initially, the boys got in trouble. The girl who was pretending to be a boy did not. Why did the girl pretending to be a boy who filmed boys in their restroom, why was there no discipline for that student? Why did the people complaining about the girl coming into the boys' restroom get in trouble, but not the girl who was filming? Not even saying whether they should go in the bathroom or not, but they were filming. It's on film. Why did that student not get in trouble?
Our policies do not permit filming in our restroom.
Okay, so when a student did it, why did that student not suffer any disciplinary conduct for doing that?
Again, factually inaccurate. What I would say is,
so you're saying that student was disciplined for filming those other students?
I'm not going to talk about specific.
Understood. I wouldn't talk about it either if I was you. What I take away from this hearing is, thank God I live in Florida, where thanks to me and the Florida legislature, our parents and our students don't have to put up with the garbage that they do in your school districts.
Folks, you are the frontline warriors for freedom and truth. You know, it drives me crazy with the mic. I hit it when I was going to look at a comment. I saw a funny comment I'll tell you about in a second. That's why I went over. You are the frontline warriors for truth. Debate calmly, present your evidence, let them rage out as they do it, make them define the terms, and make them live by their own rules. I promise you, you will never lose a debate. I promise. They'll distract. They'll change the subject. They'll do whatever they can. But no third party that has logic and reason and compass true north will say you lost that debate. Make them live by their own rules. That's a good one. I'm not going to say what it is because I want you to get into the live code because I want you to win money too. We're going to get to the comment of the day in a minute. I do. I just want to give people money. That's all the only reason we're doing this. 1776 Club. Here, one last video I want to play for you. Here's what it looks like when you have no rules, you have no process, the Constitution doesn't matter, the rules don't matter, and your only goal is the acquisition of power, which is the goal of every leftist. I want you to watch this video with Scott Galloway and Kara Swisher. And I'm going to tell you something. This really bothers me because Scott Galloway actually has some very interesting videos on TikTok and elsewhere about finance and other stuff. I can't believe a guy that understands finance and stuff as well as he does has bought into this liberal phony bullshit. It really is stunning. He's smart enough to see through this, yet he doesn't. Swisher's a whole other story. However, I want you to watch him talk about Graham Plattner and how they basically admit, like, Nothing else matters except for the fact that this guy would help them and their movement acquire power. Nothing matters. There are no rules that matter. There's no vetting that matters. At least they're honest. This is what you're up against. You're never going to change Galloway and Swisher, but you will change a third party. Calm, present your evidence, define the terms, make them live by their own rules. They don't want to live by their own rules. They don't want to live by their own rules because they don't have them. Watch this.
Voters don't care about this. I don't, and I thought his wife handled it well. I have others. I had an argument with Amanda this weekend. She doesn't like the Nazi tattoo. She doesn't like this. I don't get bothered by it as much. None of it. I think he's, as Amanda Littman correctly said, he's someone who had a drinking problem as a Marine, probably got that tattoo, has some mental health challenges, which he's trying to overcome, marriage problems, which his wife is insisting they're going to counselors and overcoming.
Every election is a choice, not a marriage proposal. We're not hiring a priest. We're hiring a senator. Do you want to make sure that women's rights aren't continue to be rolled back? Do you want a more responsible economic policy? But we're going to talk about fucking tattoos and sexting? I mean, the obsession with personal purity has become a luxury belief. And folks, if your house is on fire, you don't ask whether the firefighter has problematic DMs. Are we going to continue to have one strike and you're out? I'm a Jew. I don't love a Totenkampf tattoo. Okay, if he gets drunk one night and gets a stupid fucking tattoo, the fact that he's trying to protect our liberties the next day and might be blown up by an IED, he gets a hall pass.
You understand, right? Now we're bringing it all back. By the way, Guy's got this rule. When I come in the morning and I'm like, I'm a little worried about today's show, it's 100% correlation. It always turns out to be like the best show ever. Guy's always like, you say that all the time. I said that this morning and I'm loving this show. I'm really enjoying this. I'm having a blast doing it. That's why I don't want to stop. Bringing it back to the beginning of the show. If you watch that show, the documentary, The American Experiment, I'm warning you, it's very left, but there are some good points. It's worth understanding how they see the Constitution and the process. There is a point where they talk about the founding fathers and their fear of demagogues, a new monarch taking over the country, usurping the Constitution, and within months, the whole U.S. falls apart again under the same tyranny of the past we escaped from King George. This is exactly how it happens. You don't care about vetting. You don't care about character. You don't care about anything. You'll just elect someone, a demagogue, to get power so you can use it for your ends. And he's got the balls to be talking about women's rights with a guy who is a master debater. I take that back. He's a master debater. Porta-Johns. That's your women's rights advocate? This is how you get there to the tyranny. You ignore everything in your endless quest for power. By the way, that comment before that caught my eye. PTR fee 8. This is a Queens thing. PTR fee 8. You must be a Queens guy because you put in all caps, nobody beats the Riz. And I know you know what that means. Anyone know what he's talking about? If you grew up in Queens, there was an electronics store called The Wiz. And everybody used to get their TVs from there and everything. And their commercial was nobody beats the Wiz. Donald Trump's from Queens. Nobody beats the Riz. And there he is, the captain of Riz. Where'd you get that picture, by the way? Did you make that up? Not the hat, but is that an actual jacket he had on? That's a good job, Grok. Well done. There is nobody beats the Riz. Peter Fee 8. That was growing up. That commercial was on all the time. All right. It is time to pick our comment of the day. The team always selects them. What do you guys got for today? Yes. Who picked this one? Well, Josh, well done. Iran doesn't understand the number one rule. Don't get that. They don't. That is our comment of the day. You know about the contest? If you don't, we're just giving away money, folks. $1,776. Every week, the Bongino 1776 Live Club. Obviously, you know where we got the number from. Every week, we're giving away $1,776 in a prize to someone watching this show live. It's free. Win the comment of the day. You're then in the weekly drawing, and one of you will win a cash prize every week. It's going to be pretty awesome. We love doing this. See official rules at Bongino.com/1776. We just want to give you money because, listen, man, back it up, right? Don't be a lefty. You're going to say you love your audience? Well, good. Do something for the audience. You're asking them to tune in every day. This is just our little way of giving back to you all because we really do love having you. And the greatest honor of my life is you spending your summers in the morning with us. Rand doesn't understand the moral. Don't get dead. Don't get dead. I had cancer once. It almost helped me get dead. I didn't like it. 2 thumbs down. Don't get dead, ever. Make sure you tune in to Haley Karania, who I've issued a formal apology to. I do not have nearly as much screen scrolling time as Super Scroller Haley. Rumble.com/Haley. The king of morning podcasting, 8 a.m. Eastern time every day. Vince Colon-Ace. He's got his little Vince army growing too. It's not so little anymore. Rumble.com/Vince. Please download the free Rumble app. It is free. You don't have to do anything but download it. Click the follow button if you want to watch on the web or your smart TV. That's cool too. Rumble.com/Bongino. We love to have you here every day live. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Hey there, I'm Vince.
I'm Haley Karania,
Host of Vince.
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report.
live, 8 a.m. Eastern, weekday mornings.
Weekdays at noon. If you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
Right here
and
and
anywhere
anywhere
you
you find
find
a podcast.
podcasts. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, Haley Karania here, host of Scrolling with Haley. My show is coming up right here on Rumble at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I cover breaking news, react to viral videos, go down conspiracy theory rabbit holes, and have a whole lot of fun. You are not going to want to miss a second of it. Live, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Rumble, rumble.com/Haley. I'll see you there.